Well, you know, and at that time they were talking to Brian, you know, I think a year before, you know, I think we met him up in Saskatoon or Portland or somewhere. So they, in the meantime, they were thinking of what are they going to do with Brian? Because here's Brian, 6'5", good-looking kid, young, can work. You know, he was in Japan. So they're thinking, what do we do with this guy at the time? And then when Bill went down, they couldn't just stop the demolition because we already had all these dates booked and everything.
They're 6 to 8 weeks ahead.
So then it just said, well, hey, let's put Brian into that spot, and he can be the third demolition. And then when Bill comes back, then we can go into 6-mans and all that stuff. And Brian was a really good guy, but Brian and Smash or Crush and Axe or whatever, it wasn't the same as Axe and Smash.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was.
It never caught on.
It was great. It did, and it was almost like, yeah, you're throwing a third guy in here. Why are you doing that?
You know what it was, and Brian was a good guy, but Brian wasn't polished. He wasn't. He wasn't at the degree of performance that we were. His interviews were okay, but they were used to having Axe and Smash. They were used to seeing Axe and Smash, and even today, I tell Barry, and we've talked about it every time. Whenever they bring up Demolition, they never bring up anybody except Axe and Smash and Fuji. They never bring up Axe, Smash, and Crush, or Smash and Crush, or Axe and Crush. And to put Brian into a difficult position,
in a top spot that young, was
he wasn't ready for it.
Yeah.
You know, and we equate it to other guys that we've talked about. There was a position, and they weren't ready to take that position. He may have been later, but Brian was more robotic. We were a real fluid team and knew each other. And Barry would look over and he'd nod something, and Crush didn't catch on. Not because he's dumb, but he didn't know what he was trying to relate, or if it was us, he and I. And then he felt self-conscious because he knew he was dragging a little bit. It wasn't that he couldn't ever get it, but he didn't have. There's pressure there. They don't give you time to get it.
And once
you either got it or you don't got it.
Yeah, and once the people don't believe it for a little bit, it goes from here, and if they don't believe it, it goes like this. Yeah. And it's hard to get them to come back again.
Yeah.
You know.